what's true. Breaking down the news, he's reacting for you. They smile in your face all the time, but Big Pink's here to set it straight. Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe to Big Pink with a real news vibe. Stories on the line and the streets wanna talk. Truth in the video, watch the people walk. Every headline heavy, every clip it breaks down. Big Pink bringing clarity, truth all around. They smile in your face. Oh yeah, but the lies can't hide from the light today. So hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe to Big Pink where the real ones ride. Big Pink where the real ones ride. Big Pink, yeah, well, yeah. Current news, every angle, every side. Big Pink got the vision that you can't deny. In a world full of noise, let the channel be a guide. He break it down real, nothing watered inside. So when the world try to trick you, mislead you, misguide, Big Pink tell it straight, truth will always survive. So support the movement, keep the message alive. Hit like, comment, subscribe. They smile in your face, but truth still winning. Big Pink don't expose the game they in. Oh, so hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. Big Pink's perspective, keep the realness alive. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, Big Pink. Yes. Tell them the truth now.
Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. As y'all see the thumbnail, right? We see the thumbnail, see what it is. I told you we're going to have this conversation. And that's what we're here to do. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a beautiful Wednesday. I know the elements are kind of dramatic in different locations. And right now it's hot in my city, in my state. But we had some floods come through here. And when my wife and I just got back from Gatlinburg this past weekend, it was starting to rain down and kind of flooding in that area as well. But we're not going to let that down our spirits, right? We're here for a bigger purpose. And the purpose we're here for is for this man's mental health. Now, I had the opportunity of a lot of people allow me to kind of speak on and promote it and push, especially on the TikTok sector. Shout out to the individuals, and they know who they are, for allowing me to having a conversation. Shout out to my man Mills and his show over on YouTube for allowing me to push it on his avenue. And there were some other people that I would send out super chats to, dropping little hints, saying I'm gonna have a show talking about men's mental health. I remember a guy even challenged, it's not enough men doing it. I said, well, dog, you ain't looking in the right place. I do a men's mental health show every goddamn year. Now, whether you come over here and watch it, you subscribe to me, you check it out, whatever you do, whether you do it or not, that's on you. But I do it. You can watch the past shows and you can watch my present shows. The beautiful thing about YouTube, you can always go back and watch the shows. I'm not deleting them. They still there. And we have the conversations. And I have professionals up here. Just a couple weeks ago, we had my man Tez. Tez here today. He's in the back. He's taking care of business. He's taking care of family business. Getting his son and doing what he got to do. He's going to give me a thumbs up when he's ready to come up. And we're going to go from there. But even if I don't have a professional, right? Even if I don't have somebody in that professional realm, doesn't mean we can't have the conversation. Because there's different forms of therapy for men. Sometimes, as y'all seen in my thumbnail, it's just a bunch of guys sitting around exchanging ideas, talking, trying to encourage one another. another, uplifting one another. And there's going to be some times where we're going to have to get on one another, and that's okay too. We know to keep it respectful when we do have the conversation, and that's the most important thing. As long as we do it, we be respectful. Is there going to be some times it can get laid? Yes, it can. But that's just the way we are as men. We know this. When we're in the barbershop, we having a small form of therapy in that way. Look, you get in the barbershop, you feel like you solve all the goddamn world problems by the time you're done. You feel like you done solve everything that's going on in the political realm. You solve everybody's financial woes. You solve everybody's marital problems. You solve everybody's single person problem. Man who's going through some hard time. You done saw him. Man looking for a goddamn job. We done found him a job at the local warehouse. You know, we done solve everybody's goddamn warehouse problem. I mean, goddamn everybody's problems in the world in the barbershop. That's a form of therapy for some people. Some people just do it by listening to music. Some people just do it by going outside touching grass. You know what one of my form of therapy is? I got a record player over. I throw an album on, just sit back and just chill on that goddamn couch and just listen. I lay on that couch and just listen to music. And just let what they say, music calms the savage beast. How that beast to be calm by listening to goddamn records. Not CDs, not streaming, but albums. I like the sound of. Now I know y'all probably say, this dude sounds crazy. Maybe I am. I don't give a shit. But that's just my form of therapy. Going out in my backyard smoking a cigar. That's my form of therapy. I don't drink, but if I did, I would do that too. Me being in my yard, cutting my grass is a form of therapy for myself. It's a peaceful place. It's quiet. I only heard the sounds of my lawnmower. And my lawnmower is not even loud because I got one of them. I'm a new age kind of guy now. I got me a battery powered lawnmower. Some bitch, you don't even know it's running. So goddamn quiet. My son like, Dad, I don't even know it was running. I couldn't hear it. I said, you see them grass shavers kicking out the side? It's good. You working? It's working. That's what I do. But that's a form of therapy for me. So there's always a different form of therapy. I just want to see individuals go after it, get it, and do what they got to do. Brother, he said, another year, my brother, salute to you. I'm here for usual for your family. Definitely, let me make sure I definitely drop the link for brother, he said, so brother might want to come up. Let me do that right now. I apologize. But, brother, we usually chop it up. So definitely, let me go and drop the link right now for you guys. If any of you fellas want to come up. And my wife put some old wild shit in the goddamn shit. Nookie is your canceling ink. God damn. I didn't want to tell the people that, but it is what it is. Didn't want to tell the people that, but it is what it is. But no, all serious notes, man. I was challenged to have this show, man, and I was pleased that I was able to do it. I do one every season, every year. I'm glad I'm able to do it. Speaking of glad, let me bring my brother, Mr. He Said, up to the show. Big brother, what's going on today? You good?
I am well, sir. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this, man. How you doing, bro?
And you look good, man. You know how it go, though. You know how it goes. It's a beautiful Wednesday in my neighborhood, and glad to live to see it. You know what I'm saying? The sun is shining. I'm breathing. Huh? My wife is good.
Yes, indeed.
We're cooking some lasagna for us. I'm good. Some people say I'm a slave driver. I'm a tyrant. No, I'm just old fashioned. My wife and I are gender role. It's just me. It is what it is. I still got love for the folks. You know what I'm saying? They just don't understand me. We move differently. Some people just do that. But brother, not enough about me. How you doing, brother? You good?
All is well, man. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this as usual, man. Much needed, and you are much appreciated.
Well, man, I appreciate that, big brother. Well, I see your Knicks won. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. I didn't get to tell you that when it happened.
Knicks in 5.
I want to make
Knicks in
sure I
5,
tell you
baby.
now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Knicks
Yes,
in
sir. Shout out
5.
to the Knicks.
Salute.
Shout out
Yes.
to the Knicks.
That was nice to see, man.
Knicks. I was happy for him. I was rooting for him because I like the story of Brunson. You know, the man won in college. The man got to win the NBA. Shout out to the Knicks. I know. As he said, shout out to the Knicks.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Talk your talk, brother.
I know that's right. But before we go any further, I got to acknowledge the money. You know, you got to respect the money. Huh? Let's respect it. Shout out to my brother, man, the average man. He said he's out here putting the work in, doing God's work, making this bread, but I just want to break a little bread with you. He said, I want to share it with you. I want to bless you. He said, I'm going to bless you with these $10 or the super chat. He said, Brother Hank, I'll be listening in there. Brother, it doesn't matter. You don't have to listen in there. You can watch that replay. We're going to be here for you, even if you can't watch it live. Shout out to you. But hey, one thing y'all can do, it don't cost you a dime, is hit that goddamn like button. Lord. Push that goddamn button. It don't cost you a dime. Hit that like button. But I appreciate my man, average man. He didn't have to, he chose to. And I appreciate his blessings. Thank you, sir. But let me say this. Let's see that. I don't want to keep talking. Sean, let me say this, goddamn. I don't want to keep saying we on a different level.
Yes, indeed. Yes, we are. Absolutely.
We on a different level.
Yes, sir.
So let me say what I say.
Yes, sir.
I seen you put a flashback picture, a flashback video, and we was talking about water. Didn't realize the conversation gonna go that deep, but we talk. You goddamn right. You know how we do. Goddamn, you know how we do. I didn't realize that conversation about water is gonna go that far, but it did. But it took it to a whole new level. Mm-hmm. And part of man's mental health is making sure he's physically right? Yes. Let me talk about this. During that time period, I was on a weight loss journey, right? I'm gonna be vulnerable here, and that's what it's all about, right? I went to the doctor. Doctor said, yeah, you're 293. I said, God damn. Said, you need to lose a few pounds. I said, doctor, just be honest with me. Just tell me I'm fat and I need to lose a few lbs. I can accept that. You ain't got to beat around a goddamn bush. Just, I'm a fat ass and I need to lose some goddamn weight. Okay, I can accept it. Just say it. She started laughing. Jesus I said, I'm dead serious.
That's crazy.
I need to lose some goddamn weight. So what I do? I had to do something different. So that means I had to change up my plan because it affected me physically. So now I'm dealing with high blood pressure. I'm just going to be honest. I'm dealing with high blood pressure. She said, you got to lose some weight. I said, how much weight I got to lose, doc? Well, you know, about 25 pounds will up your situation. I said, okay, I think I can do that. So I tried. I lost about that 25 pounds, but then I put it back on. Well, she said, well, you lost about 25 pounds, but you put it back on. I said, yeah, doc, I got comfortable and started cheating again. I wasn't doing right. She said, well, I need, because your blood pressure medicine, we're going to have to do it. And I said, man, I'm tired of taking these goddamn blood pressure medicine pills. I got to do something. So I got serious. Sean, I said, man, I can't keep doing this. But when you put and try on clothes and the clothes ain't fit like they used to, to the point Sean, I'm cheap. I said, man, I ain't gonna buy no goddamn new wardrobe. I'm just gonna have to lose some goddamn weight. Fuck this. And so I just said, fuck it. My goal was to get down to 250. That was my goal weight. Right now, I got on that scale, Sean, I'm at 251. I'm 1 pound away from my goal. That's the
Let's
first.
Go.
Now, I'm hoping to get to college. College weight is 235. Now, Lord, I don't know if I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna try my best. But the reason me having this story is because I need to do it for me, not only my physical, but for my mental, for the confidence. You understand what I'm saying? When you feeling when I was losing that weight, I just felt more confident. You know what I'm saying? I just felt better. I wasn't as tired. I wasn't as worn out. And plus it helped me a lot as far as other areas of my life. You know what I'm saying? I was willing to exercise even more so after losing that weight. It motivated me to do that. But let me not go no further without recognizing my brother in the tribe. They said, we're going to donate too. We're not going to let the average man outdo us. We're going to bless Inc. with some money as well. So shout out to the tribe, to the family for the $5 super chat. He said, thank you. He said, thanks for this, brother. Don't tell nobody. 100%. I'm broke, baby. I know better than that. Even if it is not about the financial gain, but you're rich in your family. Because when you post them family pictures, man, you photos of family, pictures of your family. Look, man, you talking about helping your mental. If you got the right people around you, right? Yes. You got the right individuals around you, that also can help you with whatever you're dealing with.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. No cap.
I think one of the things I definitely want to talk about and talk as far as the men's mental health thing is, what is the biggest mental health challenge men faces today? So I'm gonna let you go first. I want you to hear your opinion, then I share mine. And then, like I said, my man Tez is in the back. When he's ready, he's gonna give me the thumbs up, let me know he's ready to come up because he's handling some business.
Indeed. But biggest mental health challenge, in my opinion, would be the high blood pressure and the high cholesterol. Just our diet, us being working guys on the go, fast food, sometimes getting what you can, it kind of contributes. So our diet, but the high blood pressure, I think, is a really big issue with us. What do you think, brother?
My thoughts about that is heart disease is one of the biggest killers amongst Black men that we're dealing with. And so, yeah, definitely high blood pressure is definitely a situation. Unfortunately, there's a lot of members in my family that dealt with it. My father, my uncle, my dad is currently dealing with. My uncle's moved on, so he's no longer there. But those are some of the things that we're dealing with. I'm dealing with that. That's what I have to deal with right now. And so, with that being said, I got to make sure I'm extra cautious on things and how I move and operate. I just came back yesterday, went to my appointment, my yearly, once a year I had to go get my heart checked and all that stuff. Good bill of health, 118/80. I said, boy, I felt like I was young again, boy, when I heard them numbers. I said, shit.
Let's go.
Gonna get her some tonight. She gonna get her some tonight. God damn it.
You're welcome.
Oh, but no, on serious note, yeah. I definitely, and sometimes I end my show, man. I always tell Black men protect themselves at all times. Whether you get on somebody's couch or somebody's Zoom meeting, man, get your mental right. But the next thing I'm definitely going to talk about is getting your physicals, getting your A1C in order, get your blood work. Take care of yourself, man. We only get one shot at this thing. We can't hit that goddamn reset button like we used to do back in the days we was playing Nintendo and Contra and shit. When I get mad, I die. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hit that goddamn reset. But we can't.
Contra was the like shit. Shout out to Contra, baby. Yes.
I didn't want to say that because I'm showing my age. I'm old. I ain't gonna front I'm old. I'm 51 now. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the club. But it's just. Those are things you have to deal with. Those things we have to deal with as men of a certain age, and I definitely want to see more men doing that. Back in the days, I remember watching and listening to how people would just question when I talk about going to therapy, right? Let me bring this other brother up, my man TJ through the fire, man. What's going on, big brother? You good?
Yeah, what it do? I'm trying to figure out how to
TJ, what up?
I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to turn my light on, bro. It didn't turn blue on me. There you go.
TJ got some freak show going in back, man. Hey, look, nobody wants to see your
TJ, what you doing back there, TJ?
Right.
Goddamn freak show.
I was like, wait a minute, I hit the button to turn the light on and the blue light popped up. I'm like, oh, that ain't right.
Oh shit.
Let me do
Setting the mood.
Yeah, what
the mood in there.
But no, TJ, we was just talking about sharing about, some of the things that we have to deal with. And I was, this is one of the questions: what's the biggest mental health challenges men face today?
Oh, that's
And
easy.
okay, what you got for us?
I know the brother said, he started talking about physical health, but the biggest mental health thing that I think a lot of brothers is accepting, dealing with, and come to terms with how little people care about you as a man, as a black man, and that the overwhelming majority of black men don't have an ally.
Damn.
And then here's the thing, and this is where I call, and maybe I'm just kind of projecting a little bit, like this is where I know black men are remarkable, because I know many black men in my situation that, you know what I mean? They're the only time their phone rings is when somebody needs to be rescued, whether that be a family member or a so-called woman who claims she like you. The only time your phone really rings is when when someone is going to extract something out of you. Your phone don't really ring a lot for somebody to see if they can be a service to you. Coming to that realization a lot of time for a lot of black men, that does a hell of a thing on your mental. And then when you realize it, you get up the next day, you go to work like nothing happened, like that you just didn't come to that realization. So the brothers out here that got wives and families and stuff like that, you guys know you're blessed, but I don't think you understand just how blessed you actually are.
That's a great point, TJ.
TJ, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. That's a beautiful point. I know what I have upstairs in that kitchen right now. I have a good woman. She pissed me off. She gets on my goddamn nerves. But I wouldn't trade her black ass in for nothing to nobody.
You said her black ass. Yeah.
One thing that I did with my son, man, and then starting to pay off now, is I asked him, how's his mental? I used to get on his nerve when I said that. Daddy, why you keep saying it? Why you keep saying that? But then I explained to him, I said, man, look, don't ask me what's going on, what's up, Daddy, and that shallow answer. Because now I feel like, you know how people say, I'm gonna pray for you. Tell me you're going through some shit, I'll pray for. Man, you know they motherfucker ain't pray for me. They don't even know my goddamn name. How you gonna pray for me?
There you go.
But that's the cliche, right? That's just the word they say.
Yes.
So when I just ask you how am I doing, do you really want to know how I'm doing? Because I could tell you if you're willing to listen.
They don't want to know. They don't.
No.
They don't want to know.
But one of the things I did with my son is, I don't even say how you doing. I said, how's your mental? That's what I would ask him every day after school. How's your mental, though? How you doing? You good? And I just listened to him. You know, the first time that boy ever asked me that was probably about 2 years ago. Freshman year in college. He said, Daddy, well, how's your mental? Man, I started to choke up.
Let's go.
He got me all emotional now. Oh, shit, boy, man, that felt good. I said, man, I'm good, man. I appreciate you asking that, man. You know, I'm dealing with this and this and this. He looking like, well, I didn't expect all this. Brother, that's what you asked me. I'm going to tell you. But like you said, if you have that structure and that family and that system around you to be there for you, and that's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, a lot of men don't have that.
The vast majority of black men don't have it. And here's the thing.
What do we do, TJ?
That's the $1 million question. I don't know. A lot of times, Hank, I see you on Lapeef and all the other panels, and I listen to people talk. And the thing that people throw out, for black men, is they just say, well, just go get somebody that's going to go to your program. They don't understand, Hank, because they're not out here. They don't understand that there's virtually nothing to go get. They don't understand that the options that are there for brothers, let's say like me, what we would have to accept is worse than being alone. So it's easy to go get something that's on your program. The problem is the majority of our women, if you want a black woman, the majority of our women ain't thinking about being on your program. They come with a whole bunch of extra expectations and baggage that they don't see as baggage. And then they talk to you and treat you as if when you're coming into their 4, 5, 6 kids and 3 to 4 baby daddy situation, they treat you like they're doing you a favor. And so a lot of times, a lot of brothers just go, I'm out. You know what I mean? So, but I hear that a lot. Just go get you some of this on your program. That's easier said than done when there's not a lot out here who are willing to get on the program. I did my I did a live stream the other night, Hink, and I was talking about, and I spent about 30 minutes talking about the term helpmeet, the helpmeet and the Proverbs 31 woman. So I combined the two. Like a helpmeet is a Proverbs 31 woman. But the one thing that I honed on is that when you look at Proverbs 31, one of the things that it says in there is that a woman is a wife, or a woman, she's a keeper of her home, and she's a provider of her home. And so I knocked down that notion that men have the exclusive responsibility to provide for the home. They don't. But we have accepted that that's what we're supposed to be, when, if those are people who walking around here claiming to be Christian, like a lot of our black women do, they don't understand that their part of their job is also providing for the home, and that they're the keepers of the home. How can you be a keeper of a home if you're not providing for that home? And it doesn't mean, and it also talks about financially as well, because it talks about a Proverbs 31 woman. It talks about the fact that she's a manager of markets or something like that. That's somebody who goes out and gets financial resources and bring them back into the home. That's not exclusive to a man. So when you're out here and you're trying to navigate what's out here, you're dealing with a bunch of people, one, that have a lot of issues that you got to bring in, and then their mind is a little disjointed about what the expectations are supposed to be. So, and that goes apart into not understanding a lot of brothers' mental health and how that weighs on them. Like, damn, I want something, but I don't want to deal with this stuff. I don't want to deal with this stuff. Like, for example, the woman that I just cut loose a few months ago, I cut her. I should have been cut her loose, but what the straw that broke the camel's back was the text message that she sent me asking me if it was okay to give her baby daddy money. I was like,
damn.
God,
and they
damn.
think, let me tell you something. And people think, let me tell you something, Hank. I don't play no fucking games. I don't play no games. You know what I mean? So a lot of times people are like, well, they're willing to do that. That means that they don't respect. No. You have to understand something. Women with children with a man, that pull from that man will short circuit her common sense almost every time, especially if she believes that somehow her kid is suffering because she won't extend the father grace. And you are put in a position to sit there to figure out, are you going to deal with it or not deal with it? Of course, when that text came through, I was the mere fact that she thought it was okay for her to ask me that. I said, this is over with. My response to her was simple. You earn your own money. You decide where it go. And I decide where I go. And that's no longer talking to you.
Yeah, that's
Left at the restaurant, Hank. God damn.
You remember the slogan. You know the slogan. What's up, brother Cortez? Glad to see you up here, brother.
What up, Cortez?
We can't hear you on mute. You on mute. We can't hear you, brother.
I've seen Cortez in the chat.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you.
Okay.
There you go, brother. Hey, brother.
Love, always. Yeah, I love the topic, man. The biggest challenge, right? Biggest challenge is untreated mental health. To me, if you're not a lot of people out here with mental health, and they not getting treatment.
Yep.
And because of that, because of the untreatment, the conditions, like the health conditions, just gets worse and worse, and that will cause some significant concerns in your life. Of being here every day. If you're not getting your mental health treated as well as your health, because that go hand in hand. It's connected. If you're experiencing mental health, then that means, and you're not getting treatment, just like anything, just like if you're getting blood pressure, if you identify with high blood pressure, you're not getting treated. What's going to happen is it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's going to, because of everyday stress, which you can't avoid, depression, you can't avoid, anxiety, you can't avoid, and then some of us, trauma, you can't avoid. So that unhealthy lifestyle, and with all those conditions coming into play, is just going to make things worse for you in the end. And not having a healthy coping mechanism to deal with some of this stuff would just create a demise. Many men are taught early. I was taught early: don't cry, don't show emotion. You're a provider. You protect. You solve problems. And as a result, we try to do it on our own accord, but it's not working. You can't work without any treatment of your own concerns. You can't treat other people. You can't help other people if you can't help yourself. You got to have yourself. You got to have strong self-awareness of who you are and what your capabilities are before you can help anybody else. But we're taught to, be that person for everybody. And that takes a burden. That creates a burden in our relationships, at work, our work performance, our health, our ability to parent, and even a sense of identity, for ourselves, who we are. We lose ourselves. We lose who we are because of that. And it affects us in every way. So what concerns me the most is that if this stuff keep going, people don't tend to get help until they reach a crisis point in life. When they reach, when the depression has become very severe, or substance use has escalated to a point where they're losing their job, or they're getting kicked out the house, or being arrested, or getting some legal issues, or even thinking about suicide or homicide, and that's when this stuff kind of develops for people. And the real key is to be aware and have a preventative mindset with mental health. You got to be preventative oriented. You got to be aware. You got to be intentional about what you want to do in life when it comes to mental health, because it affects not only the mind, the body, the spirit, the social, everything, emotional, everything is connected. So that's my spiel on it.
Well, let me ask you, since you got the floor right now, my next question is, what keeps men from seeking the help?
Whew.
I was started to share. We was about to go to this question anyway before TJ came up. There was a time period where, when I was going to therapy, they said, "Well, why are you going to therapy? What's wrong with you? You crazy?" It was only thought you had to be crazy and to go in order to go to therapy and seek therapy. You know what I'm saying? And then, now I'm self-conscious, feeling sometimes, well, am I crazy? Is that why I'm doing this? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm asking myself. But I know I was in a bad place. I was in a dark place, and I knew I needed help. But now I got people saying who are supposedly my family, right? Your family, that's supposed to take care of you, look out for you, and want the best for you. I feel like they deter me, trying to make me feel bad because I'm doing the right thing by going to seek therapy, but now they thinking and calling me crazy because I'm doing this. I don't understand this. Unfortunately, I had too many deaths in my family, and not from old age, but from self-deletion, taking their lives because they was going through some shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure my family probably did the same thing. They said to me, "What's wrong with you, crazy?" All of a sudden now they no longer here because they feel like they couldn't live no longer because they made a decision, a selfish decision, but they made a decision on doing those things. I said, man, I can't. I'm not going to end up like this. I got to think about just more than myself. I got to think about my family. I got kids. I got a wife. I love myself too much to do this. But when you have family who's not really on your side and trying to make you feel bad because you're seeking help or seeking therapy, that's crazy to me. But
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because y'all made me kind of revisit the first question, and my answer kind of goes with both. I kind of answered the first question wrong. I didn't see that mental part. But for both questions, men getting the benefit of the doubt, we don't get that. And that's what keeps us from seeking help. Like you said, in order to seek therapy, it has to be some undetermined undertone, crazy, or whatever the case may be. And that's just not the case. But we as men, we don't get that benefit of the doubt. And I think that kind of adds and attributes to the state of our mental health, because we're always fighting this uphill battle. Society sees us in a negative view. Now our families, our women, our children are starting to see us in these views and paint us with these narratives. So it's really an uphill battle, and it's a little disheartening and disappointing. So, if you don't, like you guys said, have that support system, have people speaking life into you, then it may be a little defeating. What you guys think?
Let me say this. I'm gonna give you one example real fast. I'm sorry. I know one of the times where I was in a rut was when I was at school. I'm getting red-shirted, playing football. I'm not getting no playing time. I'm just pretty much like a practice goddamn dummy. Now I'm second guessing myself, not feeling confident anymore. I'm down, I'm depressed. I'm going through it. I didn't know what depression was at the age. I'm 19. What I know about that? I just didn't know. But thinking back, I knew that's what I was going through. Thinking back to that, my son's going through the same thing. He's going to have to get red-shirted. Okay, let me make sure he's good. I know I didn't have nobody for me there. I didn't have nobody to talk to, but I need to make sure somebody's there for him because I know what he's going through right now. He's not getting to play. He's only getting to, saying just going to practice just to do treatment, not getting to really travel with the other team because, you hurt, you're redshirt, you can't travel like that. There's no need to travel. Ain't no need of paying that expense. So he's dealing with that. I'm making sure he's good. How you doing, man? I know it's a slow time. We're gonna get through this rehab. We're gonna get you back on that court. But I gotta make sure I stay in his ear, making sure he's good. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want him to go through the same bullshit that I went through when I was dealing with that medical red shirt and shit like that. So that's just an example of I know when you go through shit, man, you don't feel like doing anything. You just feel like you feel worthless. I just to be honest, you really feel worthless. You can't do nothing. You can't move. You can't study. You can't focus. And ain't enough booty in the world that's going to get your mind off of. That's just the way it was, man. But you just have to make sure you get people around who really care for you and love you and is going to try to help you and guide you and talk you through it, even when you don't feel like you can do it yourself. But go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I definitely shared the piece of how men are socialized and how they're conditioned. That comes into play why they not seeking help, or even the stigma, like you had stated, like the label of being crazy. You got to be really crazy, or you got to be insane to be seeking therapy. That image or that perception that people have of others who need therapy is that you got to be somewhere out here talking to yourself on the street, or be homeless and disheveled or whatever. to get therapy. And that's not the truth of, that's the myth of it all, right? We've been conditioned and socialized to, be tough, be strong, don't complain, you know, don't share your feelings, keep it inside. We've been conditioned that way in society, so that comes into play too when it's going out there to reach out for help. You scared. The fear is real. You don't know if you're going to be judged. Somebody's going to take the information, use it against you. You appear weak. People in your family disapprove. They're going to call you, like you said, call you crazy nuts. You're going to lose respect from other people that's in your life. And, and that's real, true things you're going to have to deal with. Because I was told long ago, the insane people are the people who keep doing this stuff over and over and over in their life and not getting any results and not getting any help. That's the insane people. The people who are out here trying to get help and go out here and do things and change their life, they not crazy. They trying to fix. They trying to change their predicament. So yeah, the experiences, the negative experiences that they may have, in my field, there is a lot of negative experiences that go on. We got to own it too in our field where, every healthcare experience for everybody is not the same. So we got to clean that up on the service part of it, right? To when we do go seek therapy, we want to make sure we seeking a good match, because not every therapist is good for every person. But you got to do your due diligence, just like every doctor is not good for every, patient. You got to do your research. You got to, stay content and push through and make sure you get the best professional that can help you and match your capabilities and really seek those individuals out. So you got to do your homework. So it takes a little work. It takes a little work to put in, because it's worth it. Because once you find a good therapist, someone you trust, someone you can work with, that definitely could go a long way for you. So that, of course, it's just the other things that come into play too. People don't have the right insurance, financial ability sometimes, because to do therapy, it is a cost. It is a financial cost. You got to be available. You got to be, your work schedule got to coincide with, the ability to do therapy. And then just a high level cultural responsiveness to your needs, right? Culture is important. We don't want to lose our culture because that's who we are and that's what makes us who we are. So we want to make sure that our culture is not compromised when we seek in therapy. So we want to make sure that that's all in line. When I say culture, I mean, you don't have to go see if you someone that see a therapist and the therapist might be a different culture from you, a white person or Hispanic person or whoever. The one thing they want to definitely take in consideration is your culture and how you respond to things, how you deal with things upon those levels, and not judge you or try to change you to be someone that's not culture that you're familiar with. So they want to take your culture into consideration when they're treating you. So you want to make sure you're aware of that too, when you're asking for help and seeking help, so that nobody's like, well, you need to do it this way, the white man way, or you need to do it the female way. You got to take in your way of doing things and how you incorporate that into your treatment. So
TJ, what is your thoughts? What keeps men from seeking help?
In my opinion, which I alluded to earlier, is because people don't care. People don't care, not to the extent that they should. I think people care superficially but like, really, really care. Like, I've been begging 2 of my brothers for years to get help, begging them. And one brother I'm about to probably lose for the rest of his life. He faces 75 years. And I think it's all tied to, help that he did not get. I gotta call another brother, and I'm gonna do that today because I flipped out on him yesterday, real bad, because he got to go serve 10 days in jail, and I flipped out on him. But then it dawned on me later that, my brothers, they need help. They've been screwed up royally, you know what I mean? And then I kind of felt bad that I was telling my brother that he needed to be grateful that he is for to serve 10 days. That's my brother. So I shouldn't be grateful that he got to serve any days. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was coming from the standpoint of accountability because I'm accountable. You know what I mean? I don't tend to make really bad decisions. My brother did, but the things that made him lead to his bad decisions were based on the fact that my brother needs help. And I constantly begged him, go get help. There are actually services out here that'll let you do it for free. It ain't long term, but it's something. It's something. But I think a lot of men don't seek help because I don't think we're not conditioned to understand. We're not conditioned that somebody actually cares enough. You know what I mean? And I know we really shouldn't care about if somebody cares, but that matters. If somebody is really, vested in your overall well-being. Me, I've learned to compartmentalize, so it doesn't bother me unless I go and open up that door. You know what I mean? To actually examine it. Then I'm like, oh dang. But a lot of brothers just don't think people really care that holistically about what they're going through. It's how we're conditioned. We're socialized to be of service and not have anybody serve us.
Average Man says a lack of self-awareness also hinders men from getting help.
Yeah.
That is so true. And I kind of caught myself doing that as a young age when I said, oh, I'm good. I'm just, going through some downtime, not really understanding how much it was really affecting me until later on down in life, me looking back. Damn. Yeah, I was depressed, man. I was going through some shit and just didn't realize I'm thinking I'm just in the funk, man. A couple of days I'll be all right. I say I'll shake it off. I'll keep it moving.
Yep.
It wasn't happening. I seen a clip with Mars Shumper, and he kind of joked. He said, I thought, depression and all that was just something, just some people just in their mind. It wasn't, it wasn't real. In other words, is what he was really saying until he went through it himself. Then he realized, yeah, this is legit. This is a real thing. And how it can affect you. And he said he couldn't even move his legs, couldn't do anything, couldn't dribble, couldn't practice, couldn't participate in his activities. He said he just stuck. He just couldn't do anything because of that. And thinking back, that's how I was feeling. When I was going through it, that's how I just didn't feel like doing shit. I mean, I'm missing meals. They already wanted me to gain weight. And now I'm not eating like I should, doing what I need to do to, saying I'm supposed to go down to the stadium, drink my milkshakes and gain, all that shit. I just wasn't there. Coach calling me, hey, man, Hank, we ain't seen you. Where you been at? What's going on? What's deal? Coach, I'm all right, man. I'm just homesick. And I'm blaming on everything else but what it really is. You know what I'm saying? Just because I didn't want to be looked at crazy or something's wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, the cliche, they don't get put in that padded room because, they're going to try to lock me away because I'm thinking But that was just me listening to other people, saying, oh, you just upset because you can't play it. No, man, I was bad, man. It was rough. It was rough. And it took a couple months, man, if I could get through that funk, man, and just But thank God for that Murray State had a great student counselors that you was able to talk to somebody, and once I had that conversation, I felt a little bit better. I mean, it wasn't all the way right, but I felt a little bit better. And of course, they talked to my coaches about it, and they, we talked about it, and once the semester was over, they said, "Man, you be fine. We like what you presented in practice. Saying we just want to make sure that you're completely strong, ready enough for this game, and because we don't just put you out there and waste a year, just redshirt you and just get stronger and get better and get knowledge and do more film study, and you'll be fine by next year." But that ain't how I felt. I felt like I'm coming out of the house, man. I should be getting right there on the field. I should be playing. I want to go to the league. At least that's what I thought. But reality kicked in real fast. But nonetheless,
I just thought of something, Hank.
That was my mindset. Go ahead, bro.
I just thought of something real quick. Because I just kind of went through it a few months ago. I had to switch jobs in the field that I'm in. They depending on the field that you work in, mental health can disqualify you from the job. I'm just thinking about, oh my God, I work in healthcare. I do critical care. And I just remember, wait a minute, they do it. As I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute. They do a whole questionnaire. I did a whole questionnaire about mental health. Diagnosed, undiagnosed mental health. Have you ever felt this? Have you felt that? Have you ever? It doesn't say today, it says ever. Have you ever felt this? Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever experienced that? You can get screened out of employment opportunities in your own field that you're trained in if you have, something that they deem to be unfit for the job. So so why want to seek help? It just dawned on me. You know what I mean? What if I would have answered that questionnaire honestly? Now, in my field, and I work in healthcare, so you would think that they would know better, but they don't. So what you got to do is you got to lie. If you got a diagnosis, you got to lie. Then you got to pass. Then you got to hope that nothing happens, that you don't have a episode in your 90 day. And then at the end of the 90 day, then you submit your paperwork to the HR that you got a diagnosis from your doctor. Then you're covered because you're already in there, and then now they got to.
God damn, T.
I'm just saying.
That's crazy. I watched, like you said, you got to do what you got to do.
I watched a lady do that. I knew within about a month and a half that this woman was half-cock crazy. You know what I mean? And for real, legit mental health issues. And on her 90-day, she had her doctor submit brand new paperwork that she has a brand new diagnosis. She's now covered under the American with Disabilities Act. There are other policies that trigger when it comes to coaching and discipline. All of that changes now that you done got it on file with the company. But had they known how severe she was, and she has to deal with patient care, and the girl can click out, they wouldn't have hired her.
It's a liability.
That's a liability. That's why let me tell you how cold the game is. If you at work and you messing up at work, tell them you're addicted and you're about to get fired, tell them you're addicted to drugs. It'll save your job.
EAP.
They'll send you to rehab. They'll give you FMLA, send you to rehab, and you know what I mean? And then they can't touch you.
Yep, you got EAP, Employee Assistance Program.
Yeah. So these are all things that
sometimes your supervisor can send you to EAP.
Yeah, but sometimes they doing it for the nefarious. A lot of times they try to use it as a weapon.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest to this point too, is that we live in a capitalist society. So your doctor don't treat you because he care about you. He treats you because you got insurance, and he gets paid for treating you. Let's get that corrected. So it's not to say that, they're bad, but that's their, a lot of times that's what they care about, their paycheck. And that's everybody. Everybody care about their paycheck if they want to live in this society. So that's that. So the big thing is, and somebody said that, hit it right, Hank. I think you said it. Self-awareness is the key. Being self-aware of yourself, because we can go through this life, this game we call life. We can go through this life pretending. It could just go on. We don't have to put any thought to it. We could just go through this life day to day without reflecting on who we are as a person and what our trials and tribulations are and what our shortcomings are. We can go through life like that. What's going to happen, though, the mind is a great thing. The mind is so great, it protects you against yourself. That's how great the mind is. It creates things in that cause a demise to you because they want you to survive. They want you to get up every day. They want you to get out and work every day to bring food home. And so, well, do whatever you have to do to come, bring, survive in this society. So the mind is a great thing, even to your demise. Mm-hmm. It'll create situations for you. It'll create depression for you. It'll create anxiety for you. But it'll get you up every day. It'll get you going. It'll get you out there. It'll get you to work. Mm-hmm. But then you're gonna break down. The mind can't do so much, but it's a great thing. But it's gonna fail you, and you're gonna break down. And when you break down, that's when the part is what's gonna happen next. Because if you don't take care, if you don't have any self-awareness of what's going on, if you're not out here consciously, when I say conscious, intently being aware of how you affect it or how you deal with stuff and how, you go in your dark place sometimes, because everybody go to that dark place. I don't care who you are. In this society that we going through right now, today's days, we got a lot of dark days, and we got to go there. And how you respond. Some people respond in a way that they can cope. Some people can't respond the way they cope.
Yep.
And that's the problem. If you don't have a good, healthy response, if you got addiction going on, if you got, with somebody with sexual, you got to go out there and have sex every day to deal with the stuff you're going through. You're looking for joy in the wrong places, it's going to catch up to you. So we're just trying to be self-aware and be on the preventive level of, about the big care is you caring about yourself. That's who you should care about. Can't care about, you can definitely care. You should have care for other people, but the biggest care is about yourself. You gotta have some self-care.
So. Definitely. All right, hey, I gotta get going. I gotta go get some dinner.
Well, go do what you gotta do. Break bread, brother. Break bread.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, TJ.
Let me say something real quick. And I didn't. I got a YouTube buddy named Kofa. Grow Talk with Kofa. I'm a plug him, Kofa. And we were talking offline one day. We talk offline a lot. And so finally one day he just said, TJ always chopping it up, but he goes, let me tell you something, man, what I've noticed over the last 3 months. He goes, it's been work, travel for your daughter, work, travel for your daughter, sitting in the hospital for a couple weeks with your mama, back to work, travel for your daughter. He goes, when the hell did you go? He goes, when's the last time you went and bought yourself a damn steak? I said, what? What are you talking about? He goes, when's the last time you went to a nice restaurant, spent $70, $80 on a damn steak and just sat there and enjoyed that you could afford to spend $70, $80 on a steak? I was confused by what he was talking about because all I was thinking about was the task in front of me, We don't tend to think about ourselves at all. And from that moment on, once a month, I'll go buy myself a nice, juicy prime rib without a lot of fat on it. I sit down, spend that $120 on myself at the restaurant, looking weird by myself, but I don't care. And not thinking about nothing but that damn steak.
I know that's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
right.
That's to your point. Even if a motherfucker won't, you ain't appreciate you, you gotta say, take a break. I'm gonna buy myself a steak today. And it don't necessarily mean have to be a steak. It could be taking in an NBA game or something like that. Me, I like the scripted WWE wrestling. So twice a year I'll spend the $2,000 or $3,000 to go to a big event just to hang out. You know what I mean? But you gotta remember to do that from time to time. And sometimes we forget. I forgot. And I was confused when the brother brought it to my attention. You know, so that's my last on a. This is a good topic, man. Wish I could stay a little bit longer, but I gotta go to work in the morning. I gotta go eat something and then get myself ready for bed.
Well, TJ, man, you know what? You always appreciate, always walking over here, brother. I appreciate you, brother. I promise you, I do, man. You take care of yourself, brother. And next time you have that steak, you think about your boy Hink, man, because I need me a good steak. God damn it, that sounds good right there.
Yeah, and I only like prime rib too, boy. So
I know that's right.
All right, y'all.
That's right. All right, take care, T. Yeah. All right, big brother. Thanks for coming, man. You know, let's keep going, man. Guys, let me say this. Do me a favor, guys. If y'all out here watching right now, if y'all enjoying this show, I appreciate you. You're not watching it live, but you're gonna watch it on replay. I appreciate you. But I ask for you guys to do me a solid and hit that goddamn like button. Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button. I promise you, it's greatly appreciated because we need to have more and more shows like this. I don't want to be the only show talking about this. Brother Harris and Sean and his lovely wife don't want to be the only people talking about mental health and all this good stuff. I think every content creator need to have at least one show a year. If it's just once a year, nobody say you got to have one every week. Nobody say you got to have one every month, but at least once a year, have the conversation. Whether you on the lady side of the spectrum or you on the men's side of the spectrum, it needs to be had. It needs to be had because it's very important. I know we don't think so. I know it's just, it's not fun to talk about. It's not going to bring a lot of eyes to the program. Who gives a shit? So what your viewers low that day? Who cares? That one off is going to make a big difference because guess what? Somebody in your audience is going to respect that. They're going to appreciate that. And if you really want to help the community, do what you got to do to help the community by doing some stuff like that, talking about it. Even if it's just for a segment. Don't have to do the whole show. You ain't got to do what I'm doing, a whole show about it. Do a segment. I challenge every content creator. Do a segment about men's mental health, kids' mental health, women's mental health. I challenge you right now to do that. I challenge you. And if you do it, I'll be there to support and everyone. You whether sending a super chat, drop a saying something, or just coming on the show, giving my POV. But Sean, unfortunately, it's not going to happen like that. I'm just talking to the wall. Amen, wall. That's what the pastor used to say. Amen, wall.
Amen, wall.
Hey, I ain't heard that. It's
in the name of Jesus.
Yeah. It's just old Negro talk. He just talking. Let's get to this next question. I ain't gonna keep fooling with these people. I love them, but man, sometimes they get on my goddamn nerves too. Shout out to the people, man. Hit that goddamn like button.
Shout out to the people. That's right.
With this one, I like this question. Should men be encouraging? Should be encouraged. I can't read what I wrote. Should men be encouraged to go to therapy? Sean, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
I'm on the fence on that one. I don't think like you guys were just alluding to, the self-awareness. It's a lot of stuff that's not there, and you got to have a strong foundation to build on in order to sit on one of those couches and really, be honest and selfless and get to the solution part. But I wouldn't necessarily encourage men to go to therapy, only because like you guys alluded to, that lack of self-awareness, and I have a question based on that. Where did it go? I heard you, Hank, speaking about sports. You know me, I'm a sports guy. Like, we both played college sports, and we had a certain awareness. I had a, you know what I mean? Like, I knew where the line was. I had that sixth sense of being on the court. That's why I stayed on the court longer than other players. So when I got my family, when I had kids, I didn't lose that. So I still keep that self-awareness and, you know, the diet and all of the rest of the stuff that comes along with that. What happened to the other guys, the guys that were college athletes, high school athletes that had that self-awareness? Did they lose it as they got older or had kids or got a family? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I know. Go ahead.
yeah, I
Tony.
would say that a lot life and just things happening, stress. It's a lot of stress that when you become an adult, you have to deal with. You have to take on a lot. I'm at a, you know, I'm raising my children. I'm parenting. Parenting stress is real. Relationship with someone that, you know, I'm married. I'm married here, and being a husband is stressful. It's not ideal. You know, we have problems sometimes. Problems come about, and I would say therapy and encouragement of therapy is important. Absolutely encourage therapy, because it's just not, when you go to therapy, it's not when you go there for something, you know, when something is wrong. Therapy is investing in yourself. Therapy is an investment. Just like when you have if you want to prevent a heart attack, you go to a doctor, a heart doctor. You want to, you know, you want to prevent cavities, or you're losing your teeth. You go to a dentist for cleanings to make sure, you know, because, you know, therapy isn't about just, you know, talking about your problems here and there. Therapy is about getting tools to help with stress management, tools to regulate your
Right.
emotions.
Okay.
Tools to
So
learn
again,
how to
Cortez, let me stop you right there. Hold up, right there. Let's build on that. So sports don't do that?
It depends. Not everybody, sports is not their tool.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
My question was, does sports do those things you said, emotional regulation, teaching you how to deal with emotions and, you know, adversity? Does sports do that for a man? Can it polish a man like that?
in the sports arena, it may be, you know,
Okay.
in that
And when he
arena,
steps out of those lines, and when he steps out of those blinds, he loses those skills.
It may not be able to be transferred to, like, what I learned in basketball, football, baseball may be different when I'm having to deal with my supervisor who's saying I'm underperforming at work. Or
I mean, I hear you. I respect it. I just beg to differ.
Dealing with, you know, problems with, you know, my wife. You know, we might not communicating on the same appeal when it comes to finances. She might have a view about finance. I might have a view with finance, which conflicts sometimes, and having to be able to deal with that. I need to come with, you know, some abilities to communicate and regulate my emotions. So it just differs in different settings. And definitely, I would say sports is very helpful with managing, you know, stress. A lot of people in sports, you know, can deal with, you know, stressful situation and crisis situation and stay calm and not overly, you know, lose focus. I mean, those aspects can help, but, you know, not in everyday life spins us different things here and there that maybe, you know, you just can't you can't use the same tools in those different arenas.
Gotcha.
So
Appreciate
Sean,
that.
let me share this. When I was a kid, I was angry, right? I was angry. And one of the reasons why I was angry, because my father, I didn't have a father in my life. Now, I had a father figure, which was my uncle and my grandfather, but my father was my life. I used to look at some of my teammates and other young boys with their fathers, and I would be jealous. I'd be envious. I'd be bitter. I'd be mad, right? And so football was my outlet, right? That's where I could take my frustration. I'm in practice. I'm going harder probably than I should. We supposed to be, when you do walkthrough, fuck walkthrough. About to bust your ass. Come up on me, I'm gonna bust your ass. You come through with that walk, I'm pushing you down. And I ain't gonna hit you, but I'm gonna push you down. Damn, why you pushing like that? We was just doing walk. Fuck you. Get back to the huddle. I ain't trying to hear this shit. But I was just angry. Couldn't wait to game day. I said, man, I ain't play. I was on varsity, starting varsity, but I said, Coach, let me play JV. I just want to hit somebody that goddamn day. Fuck it. Well, man, I can't let you play long because, you only play so many minutes and you can't play varsity. I said, cool. Look, put me in as long as I can. I just want to I need to release this fucking energy. That was just me. That was just me. All the way through college, I still had that same mentality. Now, college days, football's over with. I didn't have nowhere to release that same frustration. So now what do? I can't go out here and do no stupid shit. I got a daughter to take care of. I can't, I'm not good at basketball. I wasn't no basketball player. I ain't gonna lie, Sean. When I play basketball, I'll just play defense and rebound. I'm out there knocking motherfuckers down. I'm forgetting what sport I'm playing. I'm like, fuck it. Hey, it's contact sport. That's what they told me. So I'm doing that, but that's still not enough for me. I need to talk to somebody because I can't be this goddamn frustrated. And so, yes, during that time period, that's when I went to go get some therapy dealing with my issues that I had with my father. You know what I'm saying? Even had to have the conversation with my father. I shared it before, where my father started to come back around and want to get involved in the kid's life. I said, cool, I don't have no problem with that. But what you're not going to do is hurt my son and my daughter like you hurt me. Don't tell them you're going to show up and you don't. Because now I got to deal with that shit. Tell me you're going to get them. And I let them know when you actually out here. Are you on the way? Are you going to come to the event? Don't tell them that they looking for you. You don't showing up. That's not cool. I know how that felt. I'm not putting my goddamn kids through that same shit. That's not fair to them. That's not fair to them. So with that being said, I had to get some therapy. It took a couple of years before I forgave my dad for what happened between me and him. Now, we had a good place. We were respectful, cordial. He has a great relationship with my son because of that. He's been in my son, all of my son's AAU game. Even when he went out of state, he said, hey, where he playing at? I said, man, we always in Tennessee. I'll be there. Okay, you just talking. I'm in the gym. He called me. Where y'all sitting at? I said, where you at? I just got in. I'm like, God damn, this nigga did come. I thought he just bullshit me. He right there, he there. We all in Ohio, Cincinnati. But you know what I'm saying? He do what he need to do. A few years ago, that wouldn't have been happening. No, what the hell you calling me for? What you want? What you want, man? I don't want to talk to you. That was my mindset. Until I did what I needed to do in order to get some help to get past that and get over that. You know what I'm saying? It took some time because like I said, I was angry all the way through my freshman, all the way through my college, years. I just had to let that shit go. That was a conversation Thursday. He said, you got to let that shit go, man. He said, nah, you're going to have a goddamn stroke. Yeah, you're going to have a goddamn stroke about some shit that's really not out of your control, but that's more so on your father. And he recommended me have a conversation. And it took a long time before I even felt comfortable enough to have that conversation and talk to him about that, how I felt. Because that's not what they was used to. We come at a time earlier, you didn't tell your parents how you felt like that. Not us, not our community. Now, I had some white buddies. They'll tell their goddamn parents, I hate you.
That's a fact.
Man, I say I hate you, man. I'll get my goddamn jaw rewired. I mean, man, shit, I'm gonna be like Kanye West. My jaw gonna be wide shut if I say some shit like that to my parents. What I look like? Man, I'm gonna get shit. It's over. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get my ass kicked if I say some shit like that. But they do it. We can't, Daddy, I need to talk. What do we want to talk about? They didn't express emotion, show emotion. That wasn't them. I know because his dad didn't do it. His daddy never told his son, I love you. Now his mama did, but his daddy never did that. You know what I'm saying? And so I make sure I go out of my way to make sure I tell my son, boy, I love you. And when I used to say when he was a kid, he used to hate that shit. He like get embarrassed. I love you. I said I wouldn't leave until I heard him say, I love you. I love you. That's what he'll mumble and say shit. Then I keep doing just to get on his goddamn nerves until I heard him say it. But now he telling me I love him before I tell him. But I had to train him and teach him. But I'll always let my kids know that they are loved by their father. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how it felt. I would love to hear that from my dad. I didn't hear that till later on down the line. But I wanted to make sure my kids get that from me. And it's okay for a man to love his son. It's okay for a man to love his child, his daughter. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to make sure he heard that from me because it doesn't make him bad or less of a man. Tell your kids you love them. Doesn't matter. But those are the little things I had to address. So, Sean, what should I do in that situation if I didn't get therapy? I mean, your opinion.
No, I think you did the right thing. Absolutely. But again, I think you're a little bit different. The maturity that you have, the honesty, like I said, selflessness. You had an agenda. You wanted to do a lot of things in the future with your son. Like, I don't think a lot of men are being that honest. They're not self-aware, and I don't see why. Because again, they're men. They started, it was them by themselves. Whatever kind of family you have, sir, it was you that started that family. When you were 15 or 16, walking down the street, bouncing that ball or throwing that football, you were envisioning, I want to have a beautiful, respectful wife and some loving, adoring kids, and I'm going to be an honorable. You put all of this in motion. You met that girl. Y'all had those babies. Those your babies. And like I said, being a person that was on the court, like, I was the best person on my team. So everything he just described, I went through it with my coach, having to go back and forth. Some players, we didn't agree. Some players wasn't good enough. You not shooting in the fourth quarter. Some players didn't play good on the road. You are a sucker. You only play good at home. When we got our gym and we got all of that, I bring to my family. I'm still the best player on the team. I still got to be a good teammate. I still got to know how to win gracefully and have a bigger goal and be selfless. And like all of these things I just took from sports because I was told I was good. I was recruited. I was the best player on the team. I was the captain on the team. I didn't lose that when I got a family. It actually intensified. Now it has more stakes. It's not just a trophy I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win success for my children. And that's about being emotionally aware and all of this stuff that we mentioned. But I learned all of that from a game. And then I just took that into adulthood. And I said, most men say they've been to the service and they played sports. And so how come you don't have this self-awareness? You're not a good team player. You're not a gracious winner. You're a horrible loser. What happened? You lost all this stuff? And that's where I get off. And I'm not going to tell some guy to sit on the couch and you're not even ready yet. Just like I'm not going to tell them to get into a relationship and you're not ready. If they can't vet a girl, they cannot vet a fucking therapist. You know how hard therapists are to find? You know how long the waiting list is? They not good at picking. They ain't going to be able to pick no good therapist.
Damn. I can't argue that fact. Because I had to go through two in order to find the one I had to use before I found the one.
That's real.
I mean, that was my reality.
That's real talk.
So
it's part of the work, and it's just that I'm gonna tell you one of the strongest life stressors that is dealt to me and a bunch of people I know is grief. Someone you love and care about who are no longer here physically. How to deal with that grief and loss. It's a transition. It's a long, hard transition, to transition from someone that you love hardly that's no longer here. And you need tools to deal with that grief and that loss. So it's important that you incorporate those tools because you go through stages of grief, and understanding those stages and put you in a better limelight, because everybody grieves differently. No one grieves the same. I tell people, I worked in mental health institutions, and I tell people that I'm one incident away from being where they are. That's all it takes is one incident, and your whole world comes crashing. What do you do? How do you
I got you.
how do you
I wouldn't
respond?
disagree with that.
How do you respond? Spirituality is important. Having a strong spiritual foundation. Because when everybody's gone, when you don't have teammates, when you don't have people in your corner, who do you turn to? That's important to have that. And you need to have it because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. Just the way, the life goes. And you just want to be prepared for when it does happen so that you don't, lose it. So that's one thing that I'm a firm believer. I didn't talk to fathers, executives, people on sports teams. People, the first thing they tell me after we did a bunch of sessions together is that, man, I should have did this a long time ago. That's the first thing they say. I should have been here, talk to you or talk to a therapist a long, long, long time ago. Because I wouldn't be going through some of the headache. Because believe me, that emotional pain is real. That emotional pain hurt. It hurt.
Nah, I get that. I
And
definitely get that. I want you to be more of a guide on the road to tell the man you go in the right way or not, versus it being you being the GPS. And I think a lot of them use therapy as the GPS. They put the destination in and say, you get me there, versus just having them as a guide. Like, you go in the right way, you're doing all of the right things, you're taking the right steps. I just need you to keep going. More of validation. And I think that's where the thin line is. And if you can't acknowledge that, like a doctor is an order taker for me. He don't know shit. And he definitely don't know me. Because again, when I was 16, he wasn't there. He wasn't my primary. You just now knowing me. So all you do is you take my orders, dog. You give me this, you give me that. You run these panels, you run these tests. Because I know me. But if they don't know themselves, if they don't know how much calories is in, if they don't know how much a regular portion if they don't know what a healthy serving, like, this is the knowledge that I hang my hat on. Men say they sophisticated, but they not. And I don't want to hear that, because I did a show yesterday. If you got a fat child, you a bad leader. That should be child abuse. I don't want to hear you no good leader. Everybody in your house fat. Fuck out of here. Y'all can't even control your discipline on what you put in your mouth. So it's just different for me. And again, you put these men on Tony Soprano's fucking couch for therapy. They just think they're a bigger gangster. Now they're acting like they just, Tony Soprano and shit. Like, this shit is sensationalized for me personally. But that's just me. So yeah. I wouldn't send one of these guys that don't know nothing to therapy. But if you're well-rounded, mature, ready to be a family man, selfless, by all means, definitely talk to somebody that's going to keep you level-headed. But if you just another YN just looking for an excuse, I wouldn't send you to waste that money, waste that time, and waste that person's time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that it's an investment. Like anything, you're investing into yourself. The therapist, just like a preacher, isn't God, or the doctor isn't the determining factor, right? It's a way to kind of help you connect and have a relationship with a higher being, and that higher being is yourself. So as a therapist, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to give you advice. I'm here to help you reflect on the things that you're going through and help you understand yourself and how you respond to stressors and how things that we could try out to help relieve you from that stress. So that's my role. And my big firm belief when I first meet my people I talk to for therapy is I'll tell them, look, I'm not the expert. You're the expert. I'm just here, and I tell them that 2 heads is better than one sometimes to kind of figure out and talk through some of the problems you're going through. And let's walk the walk together, because that's the thing. A lot of people just want somebody to support them and what they're going through, and just talk to somebody about what's impacting them. And I tell them that's my role. I'm going to walk the walk. You take me on the journey, and we'll figure it out together. And let's see how it goes. And we'll check in on it. But you're ultimately the one who makes the decisions and everything. So.
Well, I got another question right here. And the question is, what affects your mental health the most? Ted, I'm going to let you go ahead and answer that first, bro.
True. Financial pressure. That's what affects me. My finances, of course, is up on that list. It's not just one thing, of course. It's relationship conflict, not seeing eye to eye sometimes, that you may have a different opinion or different view on things, that the other person have a different view, opinion, and they just don't see it your way, and you're in conflict, right? How do you get through that? Stuff like grief. Like I go back to grief. I'm caring for my children, but I'm ultimately having to care for my mother as well, who's getting older in age, right? So I got 2 different kind of stresses. Being a caregiver of my children and also my parent. So that could cause a lot of just mental health issues, and just everyday work relationship. You got that colleague or that coworker that you're trying to get right, and they ain't trying to get right. So you got that battle going back and forth. You bring that stuff home. It's hard to leave it there at work. You bring all that stuff home with you. Unresolved. Big thing too is just trauma. Being exposed to so much. I tell people, in the work that I do, I see a lot of, I hear about a lot of trauma, vicarious trauma, right? Just secondhand trauma. I have to have the ability to kind of deal with that, because when I hear a story about a child, I start thinking about my children. Or you hear a story about Black men is happening, in neighborhoods, in the hood. You reflecting what you went through when you was in the hood, and so that stuff is real. Gun violence, drug violence, all that stuff, family violence, domestic violence, all that stuff I was exposed to. So I have to deal with a lot of that stuff, and a lot of people have been exposed to those things too that they have to work through. So in everyday life, depression don't look the same way for everybody. Especially Black men. The pressure comes out like sometimes in frustration, anger, violence, aggressiveness, agitated, being irritable. And, a lot of times we self-medicate. We not only self-medicate with drugs, we self-medicate with food. Our USDA is a firm believer of feeding us more and more unhealthy food that we get addicted to and cope and it helps us cope with everyday stress. So those things are interconnected. So we got to be aware of that.
That's a fact. I know for me, what affects my mental health the most. One of the things is what I'm seeing out in the world right now, man, with these kids and what's going through with these kids, man. It's tough. Even though he's not really a kid no more, and officially July the 12th, he will be turning 21, but it still concerns me, right? I have a granddaughter. And the stuff that I see going through in these schools, these curriculums I don't agree with, these agendas that are being pushed on our kids that I don't agree with, is another thing, in my opinion, that affects me mentally. Before, my son was going to a school that was probably about 45 minutes from my house to his campus. Right? It was no big deal. I'd go, something going on, I could just go check in on him, go see him and watch the game and see all his games and all that stuff. Now he's transferring to a school that's 8 hours away. So now that gives me a level of stress right then and there. I could just go check on him if, that I'm going through it. I could just go, pick up and go. And now I can't. Now I got to make some arrangements compared to what I used to. And, it's a little stressful. And also like you said, relationships, you're always going to be seeing eye to eye on everything. There's going to be some times that you don't bump heads. And so, that's stressful. Of course, work. As far as me maintaining my blood pressure and continue to do right by that's already a stress. Like I said, every time I go to the doctor, it's always a nervous moment for me. I tell the doctor when they take my blood, I said, it's probably up a little bit, man, because I'm just nervous about being here and hear what y'all got to say, saying not want no bad news or nothing like that. So dealing with that also, can, definitely affect the mental for me. But just trying to do little things to try to ease some of those mental anguish and them anxieties you deal with. Exercising is one of the things I like to do. Getting out, walking my neighborhood. What I'm saying, my wife likes to go to like this little trail not too far away from us, but I prefer to walk in my neighborhood just so I could just talk to people who lives around me and engage with people. What I'm saying, and stuff like that. That helps. What I'm saying, like I said, go and work out at the gym. I love what TJ said. Just sometimes you just gotta go out by yourself and just have a steak. Now, of course, that's probably won't happen to me going out by myself because my wife heard me. I'm going to get a steak. She gonna want to go too. So, but one thing I do by myself, and that is going to the record store and just looking through old albums and finding little records that I'm looking to purchase or buy, or just listening to, some of the music that they have on their record player that they allow you to sample the music before you purchase them. I just like doing that. That's just like a peaceful place for me, a quiet place for me, a calm place for me that I do myself. Nobody else, just me. My wife not a big fan of going to record shops. Every once in a while she'll go with me, but she's not a big fan of it. But I am, so I tend to go by myself more so than anything. But just having that moment of doing that, it brings me peace. It brings me some type of solitude by just doing those things, and that helps me as far as my mental. Another thing is, man, like I just said, I get out in the yard, just cut grass, man. It's a peaceful place for me just to be out there by myself, just hear the calmness of the surrounding, those sounds of the lawnmower, just sound of nature all around me and stuff like that. What I'm saying? That gives me that peace, and so little things like that. But yes, it it can have all type of effects on my mental if I didn't do some of those things to make, to have me at ease. You know what I'm saying? And so that's very beneficial. And so if somebody say, well, hey, what you do? Those are some of the things I would do.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I would just do stuff like that. So
Well, it's interesting you mentioned what's going on in society and the community, and me out here in Washington D.C. I just get a higher level of stress due to the politics. The scene out
yeah.
here is crucial. Being able to deal with our current, head of state and decisions that impacts everybody and impacts me that have to cope with right every day. While we live here day to day on, um, but all that is stressful, and
Mhm.
having the ability to kind of work that out and cope with that. A lot of stuff that is impacting us, we have no control over. We have no control of what's happening, but it impacts us. And having sensibility to have some level of control over the uncontrollable is stressful in itself.
Yeah.
And that's the big hurdle that affects me. And I think affects a lot of people. Is just certain things that you don't have control over, and you're trying to figure out because of somebody somewhere, the things that the gas prices the way they are is affecting the ability for you to go out there and ride to places you like to go, and you have to deal with that. That's real talk when you have it to deal with stuff that's outside of your control. How do you do that? What tools do you have? What coping mechanisms you have, um, without you kirking out and just losing your mental because of stuff like that.
For sure, for sure. Um, my last and final question for tonight. This has been a great show, and I appreciate everybody who's been in the chat with the questions and the statement and sharing and all that good stuff. So shout out to you guys for being here. Do me a favor, make sure y'all hit that like button though.
What's the goddamn button?
Um, my last and final question that I would like to pose to you, brother, and to the people in the chat as well. So is do men have enough safe spaces, I'm sorry, enough safe spaces to talk, to have the conversation? And in my opinion, no, we don't. But what say you, Tez?
I'd say it depends, but I collectively I don't think we do. I don't think um, we have people in our lives and acquaintances and friends and colleagues and teammates and coworkers, um, and that we have, right? But they just don't, I don't think they have enough time and to deal with, you know, um, just being, emotionally ready for us, or ready for men to talk. Sometimes it's it's a focus situation. I think when it comes to having that safe space, because a lot of times I think we enter into conversations, tidbits here and there with people, but a lot of times that's where it stops, or we kind of cover surfaces. We superficial with our conversations sometimes, that really hides our vulnerability, um, and that's where it stops, because we don't want to give everything, because we want to also, we have a certain level of esteem we want people to see us in. So we always hiding behind that, So to really uncover that and really be vulnerable, true vulnerability, and express yourself without, anybody using that to pass judgment on you. It's hard to find because a lot of times people look at you differently, and you don't want that to be the case because you're just sharing some issues that you're having, but they're gonna judge you on that. And it's not not nothing, that's just the way we are. We built that way. Everybody's built that way, and it takes a high level of expertise to really kind of understand that, and just really having the ability to give you that comfort, because sometimes you get in your own way, right? You might think it's a safe space, but you're not truly trusting it, because your own ability to trust others, you're getting your way. So it's we got places we can go though. You have some communities that able to talk to your neighbor, talk to your friend. You do have some places maybe you can kind of build a relationship. I know I had like an uncle that I could really talk to and really confide in. And I know church is important. Spirituality, going to your church, mosque, congregation, pastor, deacon, those areas you can kind of rely on and get some comfort there and safe, dwelling when you're expressing yourself. I know somebody talked about the barbershop, going to barbershop here and there, talking about, but I experienced, I don't know if it's a thing now, but maybe, I don't got no hair, so I don't go to the barbershop as much, but I take my kids to the barbershop. I cut my own hair and do my own grooming, but I take my kids there. Now it's just so many people are disconnected at the barbershop. Everybody's in their phone, on their social device, and you get your appointment and you in and you out. It's not like back in the day when we went to the barbershop, you had to just go there, sit there, and wait till your
4
turn.
hours.
You had to make a whole day of, so you had to socialize because you was forced.
You put a whole shift in.
Right. You was forced. You had to kind of communicate with her because ain't nothing else to do. You had the magazines. People would talk about the Jet magazines, and so it was politics and sports talk and all that. So, but now I'm seeing it's less that going on. But you have organizations. You have mentoring organizations. You have in communities. You have Big Brother, Big Sister. Programs. Boy Scout, Girl Scout, those type of things are still thriving in our society, that you can kind of lean into the like you said, gentleman that just left, he talked about, sports, coaches, very important. You kind of talk to your coaches, the people that brought you up, and is where I'm pretty sure you had some conversations with them from time to time that was really deep and personal, and you relied on some safe, space to kind of confide in. Coaches are very important in the community, especially for Black boys, Black men, having that ability to talk to somebody in that arena. So you have an opportunity, and of course you have, associated with a mental health organization, may be helpful as well. So, of course, I left out some other, state ran, government ran, like the police, the social service department. You have those places too. That of course, if you diverge, even though we are mandated reporters, right? But they definitely take the law and legal regulations and things of that nature seriously. So nothing that you talk about, some things they have to follow up on because that's their profession. and they would have to, share that information with other people, because that's the line of work they do. So, but all in all, when men have safe spaces to talk, they are more likely to seek help. So that's important. And I think that's important in all gamuts in life. If you have a place that you really can talk to somebody and really share your real deep rooted feelings, that's how impactful it is and effective it is, when you have those areas to share your thoughts.
Mm. Well, I know I start off and I said no, and on a small scale, I think we do have certain places and some places, but as far as on a major scale, no.
No.
It's not in everybody's workplace talking about, well, it's men's mental health month. Make sure your mental is good and seek what. For the most part, every company's not doing that. Should they? Yeah, I think so. You recognize everything else. Just yesterday they was recognized Pride Month.
We still doing. I think I went somewhere. I work in a neighborhood. They had flags everywhere, and they still
it's
celebrate.
crazy. Tez, it's crazy work. But fuck you, heterosexual men. That's pretty much what they say. They hit you with the goddamn double bird. I'm like, this is crazy, but this is just our reality right now. And I'm saying this because I've was talking to a couple of my coworkers, and we was talking about how we're not men's mental health not being recognized in our company, and it's sad that we recognize everything else. March we recognize Women's Month, Breast Cancer Month, also World Red for heart disease and health month. We recognize everything. Like I said, Pride Month. I seen Asian American and Persian. I said, God damn, everybody get a guy, but us, you heterosexual men, you don't get a goddamn thing, and you want to accept it and like it. And to me, that's bullshit. And I'm just tired of seeing it. I'm not going to keep accepting it. So I had to do something. So I felt like it was my purpose and for me to present this to my company. And so I put a proposal together, and I'm gonna present it to my company. So we need to start recognizing, not just recognize it in the month of June, but I would like for my company to allow us to have a space, use one of our training rooms. We got umpteen amount of training rooms. Allow us use the training rooms at least once a month where men can get together and just have conversations, and maybe bringing in a professional to have a conversation with during that time period. Once a year. I'm not asking you to do it once a month, but at least once a year, especially during the month of June. I'm gonna encourage my company to do this, and I'm gonna present this to them, and hopefully I can get this passed, and I can come to next month, the first Wednesday of the month. I can come with bearing good news, saying, "Hey, I got it done. I've got it done because I seen a need." They asking, is there a need? Is there something that could help the company to run better? Yes. Having stuff like this for your organization that's 75% men. 75% of your employees are men. Why don't we have something like this?
Yes, touch on that. And how
it would help with absentee. It would help with people wanting to show up for work. Productivity will go up. You know what I'm saying? It would encourage people to even want to come to work, let alone taking less time off because you don't know what they're going through, because you make us feel like we really don't care. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm talking to other people, and that's how they feeling. The company really don't care about you. As long as you're there doing your job, that's all they care about. And if that's it, that's sad that we got to that point in society that is like that. But we'll see.
Yeah, spin it in the direction of it's an investment. You're investing in this, in your people. And because you're investing into them, then in return, you get a return on your investment.
For sure.
And the return is, like you said, productivity is going to go. People are going to like to come to work and enjoy, the space and the people around them, which would lessen conflict, would, less stress and uh,
And Tez, the crazy thing is, but I have to spend it like that for the financial benefit for the
oh, yep,
company in order to get this shit to go through.
yep,
That's crazy, but that's what I have to do. If that's what I got to do, I'm gonna manipulate it like that.
yep,
Do what I got to do in order for it to happen. But it's crazy that I even have to do that.
yep. I learned long time ago, long time ago, that we live in a capitalist society.
Mhm.
Nothing moves. Nothing moves if you can't make sense as far as dollars and cents.
Mhm.
Right? I don't care about, philanthropy is great, but let's be honest. People give because they want to have less taxes. They
Shout
don't
out to the
give
tax
because
breaks. Shout out to
they
the
want
tax breaks.
to. They don't give. Them billionaires don't give because they they want to, have they just want. I got so much money, I just want to give. No, they want to make more money. They want to keep some of that money.
Want them write-offs.
They want the write-offs. And that's the thing. Spin it in that direction. And when you can invite an organization that they could give some money to write off. And they may be more willing to adopt that. And finances, I got my MBA and I learned a lot to try to help understand, my industry as far as the mental health and how it's connected to business. And that's the big thing, finance people, they business people, they looking at that revenue section day in and day out. That's all they know. They don't know nothing else but revenue and liability. So I tell
Ain't this
people,
a fact?
look, people don't care. And I tell them, you working, I don't care what you know until I know you care, right?
Mhm.
I don't care, like, I don't care what do you really care? And this is in the Black community in our culture, right? You can't go out, people want to know if you really care about them, you connected to them. This is how
Yeah,
we deal with people.
yeah.
You come in there and try to sell them whatever. But if you don't care about they work and their livelihood, they not gonna care about you.
Mm.
It's gonna be reciprocated. So you definitely gotta spin it in the level of that to be real effective. That's how you
Yeah,
gotta do, because
yeah.
nobody's gonna deal with you if you coming from that angle. Um, but yeah, I love the fact that you're talking this stuff, and I, just got picked up my son, just flew in, and he was like, "Yeah." I was telling him about the show, so definitely, he was definitely enthused about it, and was hearing from my aspect about it. So, uh, like what you're doing, and that's real talk, because a lot of people not talking enough about it and addressing it. They just, you know, uh, until it hits home, until it becomes a real true crisis, then that's when they want to talk about it. And at that point, it may be too late. It may be too late, and maybe they might be too far gone where you can really impact them. But if we can kind of prevent them from going into crisis mode, let's work on that level. Like you said, let's start eating right. Let's start getting our mind right, just like your health.
Yeah.
If you on that diet, if you're on that eating right, eating healthy, then your lifestyle is going to be conducive for being healthier. And that's the same way with mental health. If you're on that trajectory of uh, doing all the right things and dealing with stuff, coping and stressful, and dealing with stress and having coping skills, then you're on that level where you not gonna go into crisis mode. You're gonna have a way to stay even keeled and deal with the punches that you're gonna It's gonna come at you.
Mm, 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 mm. You know, one of the things is that I've seen having these conversations is that it really, some of the ladies are some of the biggest pushers of this conversation for me, because I hear them say all the time, I think, you know, the men should have a safe place, and we kind of talked about this on TikTok, how the ladies want to hear us men talk about it more. I said, well, you got to kind of be careful in who you make yourself vulnerable with, and to. As far as men, most men don't like to talk a lot. We're not a lot of talk. We don't do a lot of talking a lot. It's just, and then when we do, you got to give us a safe space in order for us to have a conversation and not use it at, like you said earlier, as a weapon and throw it in our face. I shouldn't us get into an argument, all of a sudden you throwing it. Well, you used to do this. Oh, I remember when you told me your uncle touched you. God damn, baby, I told you that in secrecy, and God, why you, what the hell's that got to do with us talking about we need to do better at communicating about, you know, whatever it is we going through? Why would you throw that shit in my face? My uncle touched me. That's crazy. Unfortunately, there's some men who dealing with shit like that. They don't have a safe place, not even with their wives. I hate to even say that, but that's real. Not even with their own wives. It'd be different than just some girlfriend you could just kick to the curb. But this is somebody who you committed to for life, at least, you know, as far as the words. But, you know, we know how that goes. That's a different conversation.
Well, I'll say one thing, and this is evidence-based, right? Women live longer than men.
Yeah.
Women got some level of knowing what's going good for them, right? And we can adopt some of that, because that's their world. They have abilities to share and talk and be vulnerable. That's their socialization. They have been adopted in that, you know, since, you know, there was a birth. So being able to, you know, help others, not, you know, help them, support them. They've had that being integrated in their life of how, you know, it's important that, you know, that someone takes care of, you know, things and them, and allowing that to happen, right? Where they don't take a, you know, a brunt of all that, right? That men take, that we have to do, because we don't ask for help. We don't seek help. We don't look for help. That attitude impacts our, you know, life, and impacts, you know, our ability to stay on this earth a little longer. But women have adopted that and taken that on, and we should learn from them and look to them for you know, way to be better human being. Because in the long run, that's the being male or female. Just key is we're human beings, and we need to not, you know, we need to learn from one another, and you know, change some of these things that we've been told to do, and know that in reality is not really helping us.
Man, that's good stuff, man. That's definitely good stuff. And with closing out, I want to, if you can, give some final words for the people to ponder on until our next show in August. We're gonna do the first Wednesday in August is our next show. Like I said, I want to keep this thing going, you know, the first Wednesday of every month, and do our thing, man.
Hot August.
Yes. Hot August.
It's already, I don't know if y'all got heat advisory. We got heat advisories all over going on now.
Hey, man, we got 105 index right now.
Whew. Yeah, be careful what you ask for. It's gonna come, right? It's here.
It's here, you know. So, but yeah, I just want to
But
keep this thing going, man. And
but
like
yeah,
I said,
Hank, I want to say as a clinical social worker with more than over 20 years of experience, I've been working. I've learned that men don't need permission to feel. They don't need somebody to tell them how to feel, right? They know how to feel. They've been feeling. They need opportunities to be heard. That's the key. People, you know, they tired of people telling them, you this, you that, do this, go over there, go over there. You know, they want to be heard. No, tell me what your experience, tell me your story. Tell me what your life has been about. Tell me what, you know, how you endured, how you here today. How did you get here today? Because people just don't, in this world, we just don't happen. We matriculate. We go through some things and we come out on the better end of it because we still here. We still standing. So that story needs to be told. That story needs to be heard. And they're the best people to kind of bring that to light. And to have not just someone listen to it, just actively listen to you and be involved in what you're sharing and what you're saying. When we normalize conversations about mental health, that's important because it's just normal. It's not, you're not crazy. You're not a lunatic. You're not different than me. You go to mental health just like you go to me. I might be a therapist, but I got struggles. And, you know, I sometimes I don't do the right things. I'm not perfect. So let's start there. There's no power shift here. There's no me bigger than you. You know, let's break all that stuff down. Let's make it even kill. You are a human and I'm a human that goes through stuff every day. And that's the big key. Let's normalize that talk. Let's challenge those outdated masculinity type of thinking where you a man is a man and you know you don't cry and you don't get sad and you just suck that shit up and you get up every day. What are you feeling about? You a man. That's idiocy. That ain't real. That's fantasy world. So let's break that down. Let's create environments where people can share, like you said, what you're doing at your job. Let's promote that. Like let's get together and find ways to make spaces, available to people where they can share and be vulnerable and talk, and real talk. Like look at people in their eyes and really sharing from the deep of their soul about certain things. Just let's flip the things about weakness. Let's see the strength in ourselves and not the weaknesses in ourselves. Let's promote strength. Let's look at sometimes what's seen as a weakness can be really an opportunity, can be really a strength. So let's reframe those thoughts and reframe those thinkings and so that we have a strong ability to really be connected and help each other and help understand that seeking support isn't giving up control. It's taking control. It's taking control of your life and it's taking control of your health and being here for a longer period of time physically, so that you can improve in your relationships and make a future for your kids and everyone else that needs you around. So
for sure,
that's my
for sure. Man, that's some great final thoughts. Mine is gonna be what it's gonna be, man. But before I share my final thoughts, guys, do me a solid, like my wife said, man. Make sure you like.
What's the goddamn button?
Hit that goddamn button. By hitting that like button, man, it's going to help me move my channel on through the algorithm and get more eyes on my channel. So this is what we need. This is what we want. This is what we asking for. Definitely make sure you guys hit that like button. Whether you watching it live or you going to watch on the replay, watch it on the replay, hit that goddamn like button.
What's the goddamn button?
You're goddamn right. With that being said, I'm going to say this. On my final thoughts, black man, protect yourself at all times. Where you have to get on somebody's couch or somebody's Zoom meet, man, get your mental right. Guys, make sure you go get your physical. Go get your A1C check. Go get your blood work. Go do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Take care of yourself. We only get one shot at this thing. Ain't no hitting the reset button, start over. It's not how it works. You only get one shot at this life, man. Make the best of it. Exercise. Exercise your mind as well as your body. Do what you have to do. Love up on your kids. Tell your kids you love them. Be in your kids. Be involved. Be active. Don't just be there. Don't be like a lump on a log. Don't just be sitting there on the goddamn couch drinking your beers and not being involved and active with your kids. Be active. Participate. Help your kids with your homework if you can. Now, I know these homework's getting a little difficult now, but you do as much as you can while you can. Make sure you involve as a parent. Be there for your kids. A man of a certain age, like me and Cortez old ass, make sure you go get your colonoscopy and get your prostate check. Doesn't make you less a man because you got to get your goddamn prostate. It's not a fun experience. So I advise you get a woman with some small hands. That's my advice to you when you get your prostate check. With that being said, I appreciate every last one of you good people being here tonight. It was a great show, another success. Looking forward to seeing you next month so we can have some more men's mental health conversations. And I would like to see more men involved. I've seen a lot of people in the chat. I appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for who financially supported. But I want to see more men involved in us having this conversation. Ladies, you're more than welcome to involve yourself too. I'm not going to have you on the panel, but I would love to see you ladies in the chat, dropping questions, letting us know your thoughts. Guys, if you want to reply and comment later after the show, please do that. I love the feedback. It's greatly needed. I promise you it is. Let me know what y'all think. Because ladies, this also affects you too. You might have some brothers, your husbands, your brothers, your sons, your nephews, any male in your family that could probably benefit listening to this conversation, having this conversation. Please send them here. Please put them over. Please share the show with them. You understand what I'm saying? Let us know your feedback. I promise you, constructive criticism is always welcome here. I won't turn it away. I'll read it and I'll reply back to it. So with that being said, I appreciate every last one of you guys being here. I promise you I do. With that being said, shout out to every man that contributed. Shout out to every woman that contributed. Shout out to people in the chat who left comments. Your comments is greatly appreciated. Just keep on keeping on. Let me know what y'all think about the show afterwards. Send a message. Send it in the comments. Send me something on social media, whatever you have to say. I'll be looking forward to hear from you. With that being said, I'll catch you beautiful people on the next one. Right.